Hello and welcome once again to the reading session from the book Make Today Count by John C. Maxwell. Make Today Count by John C. Maxwell. For the past few days, we've been reading this book and we continue to do so. When I say we, that means me and those who have been joining with me in this reading session. Again, I would like to emphasize that this is not audio commentary or audio ASMR or whatever you want to call it. It's never going to be an ASMR. My voice is not that soft and sweet, but I would like to say that this is a time when you grab this book and you listen to the audio, you read along, and form your own thoughts. And like I said, talk about it, talk about those things and thoughts that you've gathered from this reading in the comments. And I'm sure not only I, a lot of people will learn from you. So thank you so much for those who have been joining in, listening, and have been part of this journey of reading this book. And now we are about to reach the end. Two more chapters, three more chapters to go. That's including today. And I'm glad that you could do this. I'm glad that you're part of this. So let's dive in to the 10th chapter of the book Make Today Count by John C. Maxwell. The 10th chapter is about generosity. So let's read. When my wife Margaret and I started our life together in the weeks after our wedding, we moved to Hillham, Indiana, where I took my first job. The church that hired me was able to pay only $80 a week. So Margaret worked several jobs to help us make ends meet. Those days were very difficult for us financially, yet they were filled with great joy. At that time, my brother Larry was tasting early success in the business world and was doing very well financially. Larry and his wife Anita saw that we were struggling, and for those first few years, they were very generous to us. The only vacations we had were ones they invited us on and paid for. All my good clothes were the result of their generosity. Larry paid my expenses as I worked on a business degree. We will always be grateful to them. As I look back on those days, three thoughts are clear to me. First, Margaret and I were never jealous of Larry and Anita's financial success. We were thrilled for them, and not once did we covet what they had. Second, we could see that their generous spirit was a tremendous source of joy for them and a blessing for us. Third, I began to realize the incredible value of having a generous lifestyle toward others. That's when I made another of my life decisions. I will live to give. Margaret and I recognize that greatness is not defined by what a person receives, but by what that person gives. True generosity isn't a function of income. It begins with the heart. It's about serving others and looking for ways to add value to them. That's the way to achieve significance in your life. Now we come to the first part, or the first section of this chapter, making the decision to plan for and model generosity daily. If you desire to become generous and make generosity part of your daily life, then do the following. Number one, give others your money. The way people handle money colors their attitude about many other aspects of their lives. Wherever your money is, that's where your attention goes. Haven't you found that to be true? If you invest heavily in the stock market, you probably check the financial page or your earnings statements frequently. If you spend a large amount of money on a house, you probably spend a lot of time and effort taking care of it. If you give a lot of money to a church or favorite charity, you care how the money is used and whether the organization succeeds. That truth is even born out of the scriptures, or born. Let's see how do you pronounce this word? This is not a difficult word. It's that comes out of basically it's birth out of it's basically found in. Is what I understand it as. and it is pronounced it born, as the dictionary says. So yeah, born out of the scriptures. Let's continue. In fact, there are a lot of insights about money contained in the Bible. Believe it or not, the Bible has more teachings about money than about prayer. One of the most telling observations is this one: where your treasure is, there your heart will also be also. Now, folks, those who are listening, let me be very clear. Bible talks about a lot of things, and everything is centered on just one aspect, that our lives should not be self centered. It should not be about us and what we have done to achieve. That it's not about I am the captain of my soul and the commander of my ship, or whatever you want to call it. It it does talk about money, because it does talk about money as being a source of living. It doesn't talk about money in the sense of that's everything. Prayer is important, and many times prayer is considered a noun than a verb. But it is a verb actually, and money in itself, is an action that also comes out of a lot of thought. If we choose to, live a life where we center ourselves just on money and say, it's very important. If you don't have money, there's nothing you can do. Okay. I would say, if you don't have money, you can do a lot, but it may not amount to anything if you don't have an understanding of how to use it. You know what I'm saying? So, prayer gives that kind of an understanding. I'm sure the author is not meaning to lean upon the fact that money is more important when he mentioned that money is mentioned more than prayer. I'm not going to read into his meaning. I would let John C. Maxwell's other books, which you might want to pick up and read, define that. For me, I would clearly explain that lesser or more is not the case. The heavier or the lighter is the case. And in this case, it's upon us. It's for us to choose what is what. Another thing is that, money is not evil in itself. The love of money is evil in itself. So we have to be very careful about these things. Anyway, I thought it'd be good to just mention it over here to be clear. So let's continue. If you give money to people, either directly or through a worthy charity, you will care about people more. And that will help to foster a more generous spirit in you. You have to prime the pump, so to speak, and then the giving will flow. If you wait until you feel like it to give, you may wait forever. You become generous by first giving money away. Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate who gave away millions of dollars, said, "No man becomes rich unless he enriches others." Number 2, give others yourself. What do people often value more than your money? The answer is time and attention. Think about it. What takes greater effort? Writing a check or giving your time? What shows the greater level of commitment? My friend Larry Burkett said, "Where there is no giving, there is no commitment." I believe that is true. The people closest to you would rather have you than your money. Nothing can take the place of your spouse's affection. A child desires to have a parent's undivided attention more than anything else. Even sharp employees with great potential understand that a good mentor is more valuable than a mere monetary reward. Money may buy stuff, but a good mentor buys a better future. When you give the gift of yourself, you are being as generous as you can be. Take a moment to recall the people who have had the greatest impact in your life. Perhaps you had a teacher who helped you understand that you could think and learn. Maybe you had a parent, aunt, or uncle who made you feel loved and accepted. Or perhaps a coach or employer saw your potential, painted a positive picture of your future, and then challenged and equipped you to reach for something better. They helped you to become the person you were always meant to be. What gift could be greater than that? Rabbi Harold Kushner said, "The purpose of life is not to win. The the purpose of life is to grow and to share. When you come to look back at on all that you have done in life, you will get more satisfaction from the pleasure you brought to other people's lives than you will from the times that you outdid and defeated them. When you invest in another person just for the sake of being that person, just for the sake of seeing that person blossom, with no thought to any benefit you might receive, you will be the kind of generous person others want to be around. And your days truly will be masterpieces. Some people see giving to others as more than just a kind of beneficial act. They see it as an obligation. Physician and missionary Sir Wilfrid T. Grenfell said, "The service we render to others, the service we render to others is really the rent we pay for our room on this earth. It is obvious that man is himself a traveler, that the purpose of this world is not to have and to hold, but to give and to serve. There can be no other meaning." Let's move to the second part, managing the discipline of generosity. It's very easy to live only for yourself. In fact, that may be every person's natural bent. I know it's mine. But when we take another path to be generous, my desire is to be the kind of person I would like to be around. To help with that, I practice this discipline, reminding myself every day I will add value to others. What does it mean to add value to others? How do you do it? Here's how to start. Number one, value people. This means treating everyone with respect. Number two, know what people value. This means listening and seeking to understand others. Number three, make myself more valuable. This means growing in order to give because I cannot give what I do not possess. And number four, do things that God values. Since He unconditionally loves people, so must I. When you value people, you open the door to generosity, and it becomes much easier to plan for and model generosity daily. If you have adopted that mindset, you are ready to be generous to others. Think about these things as you strive to practice the discipline of generosity every day. Number one, don't wait for prosperity to become generous. Because I spent over 25 years in ministry, I know a lot about people's giving patterns and their attitudes about money. One of the things I've heard many people say that is that if they ever have a lot of money, then they will become generous. People who say such things are usually fooling themselves. A person's level of income and desire to give have nothing to do with each other. Some of the most generous people I know have nothing materially. And I know plenty of people who have a lot to give but know how to give it. Statistics bear that out. The average personal income in the state of Mississippi is the second lowest in the United States, ranked by state. Yet the state is ranked sixth in charitable giving. In contrast, New Hampshire is ranked sixth in average personal income. Do you know where they rank in charitable giving as a percentage of income? They are 45th. Prosperity and high income don't help people become generous. In fact, Henry Ward Beecher, the brother of novelist Harriet Beecher Stowe, warned that they could actually make people less likely to give. He said, "Watch, lest prosperity destroy generosity." People in the United States live in the most prosperous country in the world during the most prosperous time in its history. Yet they still don't give much. Today, 2.5% of our income goes to charitable giving. That's lower than it was during the Great Depression, 2.9%. And 80% of Americans who earn at least $1 million a year leave nothing to charity in their bills. People give not from the top of their purses, but from the bottom of their hearts. If you desire to become a more generous person, don't wait for your income to change. Change your heart. Do that, and you can become a giver regardless of your income or circumstances. Number two, find a reason to give every day. It might be easier for people to find reasons not to give, but it's just as easy to find a reason, good reasons to give. You just need to look for them. Go out of your way to find reasons to give. Look for compelling causes. Look for compelling cause. Find an urgent need. Look for a group that is making an impact. Seek out leaders who know and believe in. You know and believe in. Give to organizations you respect and trust. They're all around. You just need to make it a priority. Number three, find people to receive every day. D.L. Moody, founder of the Moody Bible Institute, said, "Do all the good you can to all the people you can, in all the ways you can, as long as you can." When it comes right down to it, the recipients of your generosity are never causes, institutions, or organizations. Ultimately, the recipients are individual people. People in need of help are all around you. You don't need to go halfway around the world or check overseas or send a check overseas to help and serve others. Although there's nothing wrong with doing these things, but there are plenty of people come closer to home who can benefit from what you have to offer. People in your own town, your own neighborhood, even your own home. Being generous means keeping your eyes open for opportunities to give to everyone, whether it's through mentoring or colleague, or whether it's through mentoring a colleague, finding a homeless person, sharing your faith with a friend, or spending time with your kids. Civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are we doing for others?" How you answer that question is a measure of your generosity. And the more generous you are, the greater your opportunity to do something significant for others. We've reached the last part. Your generosity decision today. Where do you stand when it comes to generosity today? Ask yourself these three questions. Have I already made the decision to plan for and model generosity daily? I have been doing it, and I would like to keep it as discreet as possible. Number two, if so, when did I make the decision? Ever since I gave my life or just started believing Jesus, I think it helped me to open up my mind towards those who are those who are lesser privileged than I am. I have a house, I have food, I have all the facilities I need, and I'm very grateful. So it helped me to realize this that people around the world are going through immense amount of pain. So I do give, but I like giving to be discreet, to be not a bugle of my generosity. I am happy when a person is helped or receives help, and that's about it. What exactly did I decide? I will continue to be generous, to do much beyond my, whatever is within my capacity, not beyond my capacity. Whatever is within my capacity with my money or time, I will try to do my best. Based on the decision you made concerning generosity, what is the one discipline you must practice today and every day in order to be successful? Not to be insecure about what I have and do not have. What I have, if I can share, definitely I would love to share. What I have in terms of time to give to others, definitely I would love to do that. It's a great blessing to be able to, be part of this reading, because there's so much I'm realizing in terms of not only just giving and doing, but also my own strengths and weaknesses. One of the things I want to confess is that my reading has not been one of the best, and the accents flowing up and down, all of that is an attempt to basically develop something, develop a way of speaking, and develop the habit of reading, to be more articulate. And as you can see, I'm not perfect, but I'm still doing it. And I encourage you to go for those areas. Begin with those areas which need lesser work, like reading a book. Doesn't need a lot of work, but needs consistency. So go for something that's easy. Build on that and keep going. Don't stop. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening, and reading together. I hope you are enjoying it, and I hope that you continue to read no matter what. God bless you. Thank you very much.